Revolt of the Dwarves, an endless quest book. Dropping to the ground, you stare intently at the rocks, but see no sign of the dwarves. What should we do, you ask? Leave it to me. I'll fix them, says Whimsy, as she strings herself a tiny bow. Using her tiny bow, Whimsy shoots several arrows, one after another, behind the boulder. The dwarves leap to their feet in bewilderment. Even after they pluck the tiny arrows out of their skin, they continue to stagger around as if drunk. Laughing in bright bell tones, Whimsy flies down to within a few feet of the groggy dwarves. They stare at her quite stupidly, arms dangling loosely at their sides, mouths hanging open. You two shouldn't be wandering around here by yourselves. You'll get eaten by wolves. Why don't you go home? The dwarves stare at her blankly. Go home, she says, stamping her foot. There, behind you, those mountains. Turn and start walking. Stay on the path and you won't get lost. Now go. She claps her hands sharply. Staggering from side to side, the dwarves turn and wander down the path in the general direction of the mountains. You stare as the dwarves slowly walk away. What did you do to them? Oh, just a little trick I know, she says. Will they be all right? Probably. If they stay on the path, someone will find them. But they won't remember us or what happened, or much of anything else for that matter. So don't really worry. Now come along. We've got plenty of ground to cover before dusk. If you keep on standing around like a giant statue, we'll never get there. With one last look at the vanishing dwarves, you quickly follow Whimsy and Woofy in the opposite direction. Soon you begin to enter a denser part of the forest. Thick moss carpets the ground, and pale green ferns tower high above your head. It is a strangely silent forest, and your voice sounds quite unnaturally loud when you ask Whimsy where you are going. She doesn't answer, but just floats before you like a large, brilliant butterfly. Your path follows a route that no human feet have ever made. Scrambling to keep up with Woofy and Whimsy, you cross bright brooks, climb big rocks and large fallen trees, and stumble through a forest of giant flowers. The sun, and even the sky, are slowly lost in the crisscross tree branches high above you. You wonder if the pixie is trying to lose you deep in the forest. At last, stumbling and tired, you fall in front of the largest oak tree you have ever seen. Whimsy, I need to rest. The pixie grins at you and settles lightly on a vine. Using the head of a dandelion, she powders her nose with lichen dust. As you lie upon the ground watching her, gulping in large chunks of air, a mist begins to rise. At first you think that it's an ordinary ground fog that appears in some forests and swamps. But then you realize that it seems to be seeping out from the base of the oak tree. Sitting up quickly, you stare at the mist and rub at your eyes. Maybe you're seeing things, but no, it's still there. And now a figure seems to be forming. The figure of a beautiful woman. The mist figure kneels, rests her chin in her hand, and studies you quite carefully. You're unable to take your gaze from the deep brown eyes that stare into your own. You're frozen by a powerful magic, and just as you feel that you must surely shatter to a million pieces, the pressure is released. Tossing her long, thick brown hair back over the tanned shoulders, the lovely creature turns to Whimsy and whispers softly, What would you have me do this time, Whimsy? Turn this poor thing into a spider? I like the looks of this one. May I keep it? I'll take good care of it. I won't lose it like I did the last one. No, Liana, says Whimsy. For some reason I've taken a fancy to this one too. It needs my help. So long as it's fun, I think I'll keep it. Things have been really boring lately. Maybe this will stir things up a little. If it does get dull, I'll bring it back to you. Do you promise? Asks the dryad. You don't trust me? Fumes Whimsy. Of course not. We tree spirits weren't born yesterday, you know. Trusting a pixie is like trusting a cloud to go where you tell it to go. Now tell me what you want, or I shall leave. Even as she speaks, her image begins to fade back into the trunk of the tree. Wait, don't go. We need your shrinking potion. The human's too large to go unnoticed in the forest. Please, I would be ever so grateful if you would. The dryad's large brown eyes turn toward you once again. What do you want, human? Would you like to go with me and see things few mortals have even dreamed of? Or would you like to go get shrunk and go with someone you can barely even see? Vote 1 if you want to be shrunk and go with Whimsy. Vote 2 if you would like to go with the dryad to see things no mortal has ever seen. Or vote 3 if you're going to run away from these strange and powerful creatures. Again, vote 1 if you're going to be shrunk and go with Whimsy. Vote 2 if you choose to go with the dryad. And vote 3 if you choose to run away from these ancient creatures. Thank you, and you have a lovely and blessed day.